Well, before explaining the topic, first of all, let me tell you what is basically lectin. Lectin is any protein present in our body that can attach with, that can bind with a sugar. They're called as lectin. And in this pathway, a very important sugar that is called as menin binding lectin is involved. It's a protein, menin binding lectin. It's a lectin that can bind with the menin. So this menin binding lectin is present in our body, produced by synthesized by the liver. Now this menin binding lectin is involved. If we look at his name, you will get to know that this lectin is going to bind with the menin, uh, uh, polymer of mannose sugar, menin. This lectin is going to bind with the menin. Now, where the menin are present and how this menin binding lectin will bind over them. The sugar menin is present on different types of bacteria, on fungi, and some certain viruses. For example, these menin are present on, if you talk about the bacteria, they are present on Listeria strains. They are present on Salmonella strains. If we talk about the fungi, they are present on Candida albicans. If you talk about the viruses, they are present on HIV viruses. So these, I'm talking about the sugar menin. The menin sugar is present on the on these certain viruses and bacteria and fungi. Now, for example, a pathogen having menin sugar over it has entered in our tissue. Okay, obviously when it has entered in our tissue, a protein called, that is MBL, that is menin binding lectin, it will bind over this menin sugar. Now here we can see that a menin binding lectin has attached over it. Now over the MBL, two other proteins, this is MBL, menin binding lectin, two other protein, they are called as let me write the name, menin binding lectin associated serine proteases, MASP1, again menin binding lectin MBL associated serine protease 2, MASP1 and MASP2, they also play their very important role. The MASP1 and MASP2, they will attach over the MBL. MASP1 and MASP2, they will attach over the, for example, this is MASP1 and this is MASP2. Now this complex, once this complex will be formed after the conformational change, this complex will be having protease like activity, and this complex will convert C2 and C4 into C4b and C4a. Similarly, it will convert C2 into C2b and C2a. Now these B portions, B part, they will bind with each other and a complex will be formed, and this complex will be called as, you know that I have also talked about this complex in the previous lecture. This complex will be called as C3 convertase. Okay, the A part will separate, and the B part of both the C2 and C4 subunits, they will bind together and they will be collectively called as C3 convertase. Now this C3 convertase, it will be able to convert C3 into C3A and C3B. Now again the complex of C4B, C2B and C3B will be formed, and this complex will be called as C5 convertase. Now this C5 convertase, this complex that is called as C5 convertase, it will convert C5. Now this complex will convert C3 into C3A and C3B, and this whole complex it will convert C5 into C5A and C5B. Now with the C5B, other complementary proteins that are C6, C7, C8 and C9, they will attach with them, and a complex of these 5 protein 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is called as MAC, membrane attack complex. These 5 protein, they will get themselves arranged to form a pore-like structure. In this way a pore-like structure will be formed, and this pore-like structure will be placed on bacterial surface or pathogen surface. And once this pores like structure has been placed on the bacterial surface, obviously the permeability of this pathogen will get disturbed. The unwanted substance will start moving inside the cell, and the required component will start moving outside the cell. So the osmolarity will be disturbed, and this bacteria will not be able to survive, this pathogen will not be able to survive, and it will burst, it will lyse, it will be broken down into a fragment. Okay, in this way this lectin pathway works. Okay, similarly in the previous video I also talked about these A components. If you want to learn more about the role of these A components, you can visit my previous lecture that is related to the classical pathway. Here I will give you a very brief summary of these A components. C4A, C3A, C5A, they have receptor on the mast cell, and once they will act on the nearby mast cell, they will cause the release of histamine from the mast cell. And once the histamine will be released, histamine will cause vasodilation and endothelial cell constriction. Because of the vasodilation, blood flow will move toward this infected tissue, and because of this shrinkage, the fluid and protein and important enzymes, they will leak out, and they will reach antibodies and other component, they will reach to the infected tissue. Similarly, C5A, it will also be having its receptor on the vascular endothelial. For example, this is the blood vessel and these are the endothelial cells. It will be having its receptor on the vascular endothelial cells, and when this C5A will go and it will act on its receptor, small proteins, adhesive proteins will appear on the cell, and they will adhere, they will stick, they will catch the passing neutrophils over it, and once the neutrophil will attach over it, it will stick over them. This neutrophil will be dragged inside the infected tissue. So the transmigration of neutrophils and macrophages and other lymphocyte is also being taken place with the help of C5A. So it means A components are also very important. Now this A component, this neutrophil has been entered inside the infected tissue, and now this C5A is also going to help this neutrophil to move toward the site of infection, chemotaxis. So C5A is also going to help the migratory neutrophils in the chemotaxis. So this was about the lectin pathway. Hope you like this video. If you want to learn more about alternative pathway, don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you may get notification when the next video will be uploaded. Thank you so much.